I'm back and I'm with Puppy. This is Fox. So I'll be honest, I've obviously not posted for a while and I kind of gave up on the whole YouTube thing and I was much more into Instagram, but I've decided to start the YouTube back up because I got over 1,000 views on my last video, so people are finding it helpful, which is great, and so I'm going to continue it. My Instagram account has changed. I am now at clearly_psyched rather than different decade undergrad. The name just suited me more. There was a whole bunch of reasons, and so if you're looking for me on Instagram with old videos, look for this name instead. I have to apologise for the iPhone quality video. I can't find my camera charger at the moment, so we'll have to make do with this, but I promise the content will be just as good here than it would be on a camera. Same information, right? So this video is going to be all about the differences between an access course and undergraduate life. So I did my access course in the same university as my undergraduate degree. So you'd expect there to be a lot of similarities and a lot of consistency there, but actually they're very different things. So if you've gone to a different university from your access course, or if you've been accepted into one, this will probably still apply to you. I imagine it'll be very similar. Generally speaking, access courses are a lot more supported than undergraduate life in a lot of ways. In a lot of access courses, you go into your same class of the same people most days. You have a weekly routine with the same staff that you're seeing day in and day out, as well as the students. And that's completely different to undergraduate life. In my access course, it was a decent size, but it was just a classroom full of people and it was the same students. Give or take, there were a couple of different options within our course. But in undergraduate life, I walk into lectures full of 300 people, and some faces I'll have maybe seen in some other classes, but a lot of the time they're people from completely different courses. Not only do I have different lecturers for different subjects, but actually within the same subjects, the same lecturer might only stay there for like 2 weeks, and then the next 2 weeks you'll have completely different lecturer in the same subject. So you don't really see the same faces a lot. Some courses you do, but if you're in a popular course, then like mine, which is psychology, it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen in my linguistics either, or actually in any of my outside courses. Instead of being in a small classroom, I'm in lecture theatres of like 300 people who I haven't seen in any of my previous classes most of the time. Another staff difference is in support. So on my access course, my personal tutor was my support for everything, whether it was academic, whether it was personal. If I needed anything, she was like my go-to gal. But in the wider university, your personal tutor is purely academic, which I've mentioned in previous videos, so I won't touch on it too much. But if you are someone who needs support in other ways, there is a separate pupil support service or disability service in the university with staff that are specific to those needs. So you kind of need to be spread out. It's not just one go-to person, and you need to know the right person to go to. Which kind of brings me to my other point, is that no one really checks in on you, and depending on your style of learning or who you are as a person, that could be either a good or a bad thing for your undergraduate career. So I think the main thing I want to put across here is if you need help, you need to seek it out. It's not going to come to you. Nobody's checking in. When it comes to academic staff, obviously it's really positive, because on an access course, they're really trying to tick boxes for students going into all different areas of study. Whereas when you get to university, this is your chance to study something you want to, something you're interested in. You can choose your outside courses. You know, you can be quite clever with this, and that if you know exactly what you want to do at the end of university, you can pick courses that would maybe make you stand out from the crowd a little bit, and that ties in with the job description and job role. And you're always studying things that you want to study, so that's great. It means that you've got a lot more motivation a lot of the time, and you don't need to find external motivation. It's stuff that you actually want to know. Scheduling is very different. So, like I said before, on my Access course, and I'm assuming many others, you would have a weekly schedule. So, you know, every week you would have the same times that you're in the same classes. It's kind of the case, but also kind of not, depending on what you're studying. So rather than things being a full year, everything's done in semesters. So your semester 1 courses will be different to your semester 2 courses, which means different timetables. Within that, you don't necessarily get a weekly schedule. So for the most part, yeah, you do. But in some subjects, there will be cases where, for example, you're in on a Tuesday morning, alternate weeks to a Thursday morning or something like that. Or maybe it'll be in blocks. So like for 4 weeks you'll be here, for 2 weeks you'll be here. And so it's not really as easy to manage your work all the time, depending on your line of work and how flexible that is. If you're someone who has family commitments, it's something that you might just have to either work on or be quite clever with when you are selecting your subjects. It can also mean having a very unbalanced year. So in both of my years, I'm in the transition between first year and second year. I'm going into second year in a couple of weeks. This is summer kind of over, and both years it just so happens in my timetable that my first semester is chock-a-block. It's so busy. But my second semester is really quite chill. So it doesn't always work out very evenly in terms of workload either. The last difference that I'm going to cover between Access courses and undergraduate life is that you never go over content in class. So in my Access course, if we were struggling with something, we could all bring it to the tutor/lecturer and we could be like, okay, struggling with this, and then they will go over that content before starting the lesson for that day or that week or whatever. That doesn't really happen with lectures. Maybe in your tutorials, if you've got a really good tutor who would be like, okay, is anyone struggling with this, and schedules that into their lesson plan, but it's quite rare. So you really need to use office hours or do revision in your own time or have study groups with your peers in order to go over content. You need to be very disciplined, because once that topic's finished, it's done. They're not covering it again. So I'm going to end it there, but if there's any questions, please put it in the comments, or to be honest, I check my Instagram much more regular, so at Clearly Psyched if you want to do that. I respond to my inbox as well, very regularly. Not the best video in terms of quality for my comeback. However, I hope you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I found my charger by the time I see you in my next video. Bye! Bye from Fox!